Now that we have all of our settings in place, we need to tell OBS what we want to record. And to do that, we're going to use this real space that we have, the big black rectangle that you see over here. This is referred to as the scene in OBS terminology. And anything that you see in this big black box will actually get recorded. So we will be adding different elements to it, which are called sources, and we'll see what sources are. But for the moment, look at the bottom left corner of the OBS, and you actually see a small window or tab with the name scenes. And in there, there's already an entry called a scene. So this big black rectangular box over here has already been given a name called scene. We can always go ahead and change that name to our likings, but I don't see the point at the moment. This is good enough for us. OBS allow us to add different scenes by clicking on the plus button over here, and I can give it any name. I can add multiple scenes to it, and each scene may have different settings, different sources, and that allow us sophisticated kind of recording sessions to proceed with. But at the moment, we don't want to bother ourselves with all of these extra complications. We are good to go with just one scene. That is the default one. So in order to get rid of all of these ones, you just highlight whichever ones you want to delete and click on the minus button, and it will get rid of this for you. However, it will not let you delete the basic ones. Okay, at this point, we want to move forward and focus on the sources window or sources tab. You might be wondering what sources are. Well, it is anything that generates some kind of a signal for OBS to record. So a microphone is a source. A system audio is a source. Your webcam is a source. Your monitor is generating signals and visual elements. That's a source. And so if you click on the plus button over here, it will pop up a menu which shows different kinds of sources that can actually be added to your OBS scene. And at this moment, we are interested in the most important one, which is capturing the display. So that whatever is displayed it gets recorded and captured. For that, we want to select display capture as one of our sources. We click on that. It is asking us to rename if you like. I think I'm good to go with this name, and so I click OK, and it pops up a properties box for the display capture device. And I can already see my current display being captured. Now we will we look at the display option given over here. This is by default that selection which we made in the auto configuration wizard when we selected which display we want to capture. So, but here once again I have the option of changing, but if I change over here, I need to change in the settings as well. Otherwise, it will mess up the configuration. So we'll leave it whatever it is. And another option that you see is a capture cursor checkbox over here, which is checked at the moment. Notice that as I'm moving my mouse, there's a black image or shadow that is also moving along with it in the capture window or in the scene box. This is because OBS is capturing my mouse as well and recording it and making it part of the recording. If you don't want that, you can uncheck it, and the mouse is no longer being captured. But it's not a good idea. I prefer and I suggest that you always capture the mouse cursor, because as you're explaining things in a lecture, you will be moving your mouse, and it'll be easy for your students to follow that, and you can emphasize on certain things by moving your mouse around it, or like highlighting certain things like underlining effect and stuff. So it's easy for students to follow those things. So we click on OK, and we're good to go. Okay. Next, since we are recording a lecture, it will be nice if we also include an audio source. Otherwise, our voice will not be recorded. So to do that, we go again to the plus button on the sources window, click on that and go to the very first option which says audio input capture. Select that, and this will allow us to select any mic that is attached to our system. In this case, I would like to rename it to microphone. The reason is your audio source there could be other audio sources as well. Computer generated sound can also be one of the audio sources. In this case, we are particularly interested in the microphone. So I rename it to microphone and click OK. And it takes me to a property box for microphone. There's a drop down device box. Click on that and voila, it shows us the same list of mic that we spent time in configuring it in the very first tutorial window. So it's time we get paid back for the effort. So I want to make sure I select the lapel microphone and click OK. As soon as I do that, you will see in the audio mixer down here, it starts showing the microphone, and as I'm speaking, it's showing me the audio level that is changing. I can always mute it if I don't like it by clicking on the speaker icon, but that's, at the moment it's not going to serve my purpose because we do want to record the audio. The other thing you must configure at this very moment, consider the audio, this strength, the bar here, the colored bar that is constantly moving left and right is showing the strength of the audio that your mic is picking up. Okay, we want to make sure this strength is correctly configured. We don't want the signal to be too high as to enter into the red region, because that means it's going to get clipped, and that will introduce distortions. We don't want the audio level to be too low, otherwise it'll be hard for the students, for any listener to actually listen to it. The ideal strength is somewhere in the yellow region, okay, or the border between green and yellow. So you need to adjust that. At the moment, my audio level is almost perfect because my mic is, I'm wearing a dummy headgear, and I've clipped my lapel mic to that dummy headgear, which is right next to my mouth, and it couldn't be any closer than that. So I'm getting perfect audio level. But in case your mic is clipped to your shirt, or if you've got a USB mic or somewhere on a stand on a desk on your desk and a little bit far away, you may find that the level is a bit too low. Then you may need to adjust that now before you start recording by clicking on this wheel icon over here, which takes you to settings, and over there select advanced audio properties, and there you can adjust your decibels, and decibels indicate audio gain or audio level. Okay, if you feel that it's too low, then you can increase over here. Maybe, I don't know, you can play around with these things by moving to 4 and something, and seeing if it's still too low or more, I don't know. You can adjust it accordingly. If you find that your audio level already is too high, okay, and even if you make it 0, it's still too high, you can always go to negative levels. You can adjust, you can write in minus, whatever you like, okay, or what you can do is, whatever level is selected over there, you can go below that level by using your slider over here. So if I move my slider in the middle somewhere and go back to the advanced properties, I see that it has already brought it to negative value. All right, so wherever your slider is, and I can set value there, I can set 0 in this case, so, or I can select a positive value, 4 in this case. The slider will bring it down to any other level. Okay, so this is an important property that you need to check and configure according to your needs and according to your environment and your system. So we're good to go. Let's kick off a sample recording session. Go to the right and bottom right, and you see the controls there. Over there, the second one is start recording. So we click on there, and as soon as we do that, you see the pause button appearing and a red dot and record, and the counter starts incrementing. That means all of it signals or indicates recording is in session, in progress. I can always pause it. In this case, you'll see a flashing pause button and says pause, and the counter stops. I can click on the pause again to resume. Counter starts again, and I can pull up my slides and say, hey, I run the slideshow, and hey, students, today we were looking at the big picture statistics, blah, 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 whatever. You can write on it using your pen and tablet and stuff, and when you're done, you can always close it and then hit on the stop recording to stop recording. Okay, it saves the recording file automatically at the default location, and you can retrieve it by going to the file menu and selecting show recording as the very first option. And when you do that, it pops up the file explorer into that folder, and it saves all the files in there, stamped with the date and the time. So the last one is the latest one, and I'll just kickstart it there. And as soon as we do that, you see the pause button appearing and a red dot and record, and the counter starts incrementing. That means all of it signals or indicates recording is in session, in progress. This is what we just recorded right now. I can always, and hey, students, today we were looking at the big picture statistics, blah, 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 whatever. You can write on, you can close it and then hit on the stop recording. So that was our basic recording session. Next tutorial, we'll see how to include the webcam.